The Levo Comp Aluminium with a bit of Sam's Bikes upgrade versus the Levo Carbon Expert. Which is right for you riders? Let's find out. Riders, welcome back to Sam's Bikes, where you know we only talk e-bikes, and today we are looking at the Levo Comp Aluminium with a bit of Sam's Bikes upgrade versus the Levo Carbon Expert, and which is better for you. And I actually did a very similar video 2 years ago, and a couple of weeks ago, the legend Timo put this comment. Great topic, Sam. I'm about to buy the 2022 Levo, and I'm limited to the aluminium frame due to my weight. It would be amazing to see a new video featuring the 2022 and kit available now. Timo, mate, thank you so much for the comment. We're gonna build that bike right now. And now let's have a look at the Levo Comp Aluminium and the Levo Carbon Expert and see how they differ. First up, Levo Comp Aluminium, 7,000 euros. As you know, riders, I absolutely love the Levo Gen 3 lineup of bikes, and the Levo Comp Aluminium is no exception. It is a great bike. It does have mid-spec parts, but it's totally fine to ride straight out of the shop. And then we have the Levo Carbon Expert, 10,200 euros, which has a carbon frame, top spec suspension, very similar to what you'll see in the S-Works, just not Kashima, Mastermind, and clearly a higher spec bike throughout. But also it's 3,200 euros more expensive. Both Levos have the same geometry, the same 6-way geometry change, which is amazing. The Bros Mag S with 90 Newton meters and a 700 watt hour battery. The aluminium doesn't have the Mastermind, but I'm going to show you a hack, riders, at the end of this video that will give you pretty much everything the Mastermind has. And clearly the aluminium frame is heavier, around 1.2 kilos heavier in an S4. But also for the heavier riders, the aluminium frame has a total payload of 158 kilos compared to the carbon models at 131. So definitely a great option for the heavier riders. Okay, so what we're gonna do in this video is we're gonna build out the Levo Comp with a bit of Sam's Bikes bling and bring it in for more or less the same price as the Carbon Expert. And then I'm gonna give pros and cons of each setup and which is better for you riders. Now riders, there's absolutely nothing wrong with any of these parts on the Levo Aluminium, but to give us a little bit more spending power, a little bit more budget, let's virtually sell off some of these parts. First up, we have the brand new wheels and tires. I would say you're gonna get around 200 euros for these wheels. And then we have SRAM Code R brakes. I reckon you'll get around 130 euros for them. Then we have the Fox X rear shock, which riders, we are gonna take this off, but also if you are gonna buy this bike, I would definitely try the shock because I was pretty impressed with it. It's actually quite similar to an X2, but nevertheless, let's sell it off for, I reckon, 375 euros. And lucky last, the Fox Rhythm 36. I reckon we'll get about 450 for them. I'm also going to leave the dropper, the seat, and all the running gear, so the derailleur, changer, and cassette and chain. I don't see any point in upgrading this. You're not gonna get any more performance from your bike. So we have 1,155 euros extra budget to spend on this dream build. And now riders, let's go shopping. And because I got super excited about this build, I got my mate at Standout Bikes to do some illustrations to help explain and show us what it's gonna look like. And quite similar to the t-shirt I'm wearing that I got him to make like 2 or 3 years ago. This is of my duck, this is of my dream build duck. So the first point of call is suspension. And I've been lucky enough to ride Fox 38s and Zebs. And I'm gonna say, riders, there's not a lot of difference. I think the Zebs might have a little bit more plushness off the top. And I haven't even tried the new Zebs with the Charger 3. So let's grab a set of RockShox Zeb Ultimas for 900 euros. I like to keep my suspension the same. So let's go RockShox again. Let's go the brand new Super Deluxe Ultimate Coil DH. And that's gonna set you back 550 euros with a coil And I haven't tested this shock, but it does look really good and it is very well priced at 550 euros. And you're gonna need a good set of wheels and tires. For me, that is one of the most important parts of an electric mountain bike. And we are gonna go Schwalbe tires, of course. And a massive shout out to Schwalbe for the long-term sponsor of Sam's Bikes, really helping keep the lights on here. And also Quadlock, making the best smartphone holders for your mountain bikes. And also Insta360, the smallest action camera on the market. So we're gonna go Schwalbe Magic Mary on the front, 29 2.4 in ultra soft in the super gravity casing. And then on the back, we're gonna go a Magic Mary also 27.5 in 2.4 in the soft compound in the super gravity casing as well. These tires are gonna set you back about 100 euros. And then the wheels, I've had these wheels a few times, they're absolutely bomb-proof. We're going Hope hubs on DT Swiss Freerider 560s. This wheel set is gonna cost you about 550 euros. And next up, you're gonna need a good set of brakes. And for me, my go-tos are Magura MT7s. Just really love the modulation, the power. They're just really good brakes, and I feel really confident when riding them at high speed. So a set of Magura MT7s with Magura Storm rotors is gonna set you back around 360 euros. And next up is the cockpit. And a lot of people don't really think much of a cockpit, and they're like, any handlebar, any stand will do. And they're right, and it's probably more psychological, but I love to have my own cockpit, the same stem, same brakes, same handlebars on all my bikes. It makes me feel more at home straight away on a bike. And I normally go for rental fat bars, but I've decided to try some joysticks and a joystick stem. These bars will set you back 60 euros, this stem 90. And this bar and stem is actually going on a new build I'm working on, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, riders. It's gonna be dropping in the next couple of weeks. I cannot wait to show you the beast I'm building. And to finish this cockpit off, let's go a set of DMR death grips. In my opinion, the best grips on the market. They just feel like you're riding a motorbike. I love them. I have them on all my bikes pretty much. And this is definitely not necessary, but over the last like 18 months, 2 years, I have broken 2 sets of cranks on my electric mountain bike. And it's actually when I've hit a pedal, it's just ripped the pedal straight out of the thread. And you know, the cranks are done, the ride is over. And I've always wanted to try 155 cranks. So let's grab a set of Hope cranks in Sam's Bikes Red for 230 euros. And the last part of the puzzle, and you remember at the start of the video, I said I had a hack if you don't have Mastermind and you want all that information. Well, if you use a Garmin Edge device and you need a third-party app, which I'll link in the show notes, it's not as good as the Mastermind, where you don't get micro-tune, you pretty much get everything else. You get cadence, the battery power in a percentage, which I love. You get a power meter. You can also see what mode you're in. And there's also this guy making these mounts. You can actually click the Garmin above your TCU, it hides it, and it is in a great spot. It's not as good as the Mastermind, it's definitely not as pretty, but it is a hack, and I definitely would recommend it if you don't have Mastermind and you want all that information. So the Garmin Edge will set you back 210 euros. And I want to say, riders, I checked all these prices. Pretty much I went into Google, and a lot of those pricings is from Bike Discount. For me, not sponsored by them at all, but for me, they do offer the best prices that I've found in Europe. Okay, so the total build, Levo, 7,000 euros. Less the parts sold, 1,150 euros. Plus tires, 100 euros. Plus suspension, 1,450. Plus wheels, 550. Plus brakes, 360. Plus the cockpit, 170. Plus the cranks, 230. Plus the Garmin, 210. With a grand total of 8,910 euros. Okay, riders, we have brought it in 1,200 euros cheaper than the Carbon Expert. But let's break it down further and have a look at the pros and cons of the aluminium and the pros and cons of the carbon. Okay, first off, how do I think these bikes are going to ride on the trail? Well, I think both bikes have high-end suspension. They also both have good brakes. I mean, Magura for me are better than Codes. I think where you're going to really notice it is in the tires and wheels. These are burlier wheels on the aluminium, so you're probably going to get less punches, and they're probably going to be stronger wheels for hitting rock gardens and stuff like that. But overall, I think the bikes would ride pretty similar, but you also have to remember with these burly wheels, burly tires, coil, and also the aluminium frame coming in at 1.2 kilos heavier, the bike is definitely going to be heavier. And what I've noticed out in the trails, especially when I'm riding 21, 22 kilo e-bikes, when you do topple them over to 24, 25, that weight difference between 22 to 25 is really noticeable. More noticeable than, let's say you're riding a super light like a Kenevo SL that's 18 and the Levo is 22. For me, like, it's more noticeable as you get higher up in those weights. Yes, the aluminium is 1.2 kilos heavier, but also if you are a heavier rider, it has 27 kilos or 60 pounds more total payload. So if you are that heavier rider, you definitely should be looking at a Levo aluminium. And now let's talk about putting the dream bike together. If you are handy with tools and you do have a space to work, you are going to have a lot of fun building your custom electric mountain bike. It's going to be a one-off. You're the only person in the world that's going to have this build. So I love that part of it. But if you're not handy, expect to pay a mechanic at least half a day, if not a day to a day and a half, to do all the work needed. So I took the easy way out. I did the virtual sale of all the parts. I just kind of guessed what I thought I would pay for something like that. But then riders, realistically, you're going to have to go out and sell those parts. I am a bit of a wheeler and dealer. I do like doing that, so it's not a problem for me. But you know, when you're selling parts online, it can be a bit of a pain. And then you have to actually find the parts in stock. When I was writing this video and researching it, I did find all the parts, and all the parts and the prices are correct for the price I found them in Europe. But, and this is a big but, I'm gonna say at least 40 to 50% of the parts were out of stock. So remember, you're gonna have to find all those parts to complete your dream build. And now onto warranty. And riders, I am definitely playing devil's advocate here. I'm looking at the pros and cons of each side of this purchase. And if you buy the more expensive Carbon Expert for 10,200 euros, and let's say you blow the forks, the seal breaks, they need to go in for a service at Fox, you just simply take it to your specialized dealer and they do the rest. And on the flip side, if you blew the seal on the Levo aluminium on the Zeb Ultimas, you're gonna have to contact the bike shop or the bike online store you bought it from and then follow their procedures, which they will probably contact. You might need to send it to them or you need to send it to RockShox Direct. I don't really know how that works, but definitely it's gonna be simpler buying the Carbon Expert for sure. And now riders, for the conclusion, are you better off building the aluminium or just buying the carbon outright? It's really hard. I'm gonna say if you're a person that is handy, that has tools, that likes building things and also wants a custom ride, or also you are a heavier rider and you do want to get into a top spec Levo, then this is a great option for you. And on the flip side, if you aren't that handy and you do want your warranty sorted out quickly and all that stuff, then I probably would go just for the Carbon Expert. I don't think there's going to be a lot of difference in how they ride. And what do I think, riders? I'm going to say I love the aluminium dream build. The only thing that I'm a little bit skeptical about is the 1.2 kilos heavier in frame. That's actually more than I thought it would be. I thought it might be 600, 800 grams. So it's quite significant. And I really love how the Levo Carbon rides. I have to really ride like a spec'd up Levo aluminium just to see if you can feel it out in the trails. Anyway, riders, that is it for me today. I hope you liked this video. And Timo, thanks for the question. I really enjoyed making this video. And riders, more importantly, what would be your dream bike? What parts would you use? put it in the show notes. I'd love to find out. And if you have any questions on any electric mountain bike, hit me up in the comments. I love to help. And riders, you know it, if you have not subscribed to Sam's Bikes, please do so. Share it with like-minded people. It really does mean a lot. And stay safe out there. And we're going to see you next time.